Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay. Do you have any parts you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
I know when I'm feeling good, it's hard to...
Yeah.
To think. I met a friend that I was in school with, and I guess this is something I knew I was a brat, and that's some of the things we talked about in the last session.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that I kind of wanted my own way, if I didn't get my own way. But she didn't really say any examples or so. And I said, I wasn't mean to you, was I? And she's was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So I can see a little difference in her. But yeah, when she brought that up, it's like I didn't want to hear that. But that part of me that wanted things my way, and I didn't think I really spoke my mind back then, but maybe I did more than I can remember. So that part that wanting my own way, and that kind of goes into some of my other parts, the projecting, the fear, the anxiety. I think it all kind of ties in.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So my fearful, my the little girl part has been, I think it's been good. I try, which I've been forgetting, but I've been still trying in the morning, to speak to that part.
Because the very young one, the 5-year-old?
Yes, because morning is my worst time too. So I've been just trying to be there with her and let her know it's okay. And I really do see that that's helping, because you had said to try that for 3 weeks or something.
That's right.
And also the anxious part, the projecting part too. I know to kind of do the same thing with that part, but so I've been feeling okay, with those parts. So I don't know. Can you go to the happy part? The happy part of me?
Can.
I'm that just came to me I don't know, because I guess
Well,
I don't look at that
you-
happy part.
we can go wherever you want. I mean, when I start these calls, I'm usually asking if there's a part you want to change your relationship with. So I think that's why, most people are coming in and saying, well, here's the part that's unhappy. So I don't know. Do you want to get to know that part better or change your relationship with it? Or, it sounds like you did mention some other parts already. This kind of wanting your own way, and I was also curious about when you say, I know I was a brat, like, is like what that means, and yeah, if that still brings up any kind of strong emotions in you. But we can go wherever you like.
I know, I'm just thinking what you said.
About being a brat?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we did talk about that a little.
Yeah,
and
I think we kind of got into it a little bit, and then other parts came up, and so we could revisit that if you want.
I'm checking in, and
Great.
it seems like that part's okay with it, unless I guess I know I can tell you if it's either too much or whatever, but I guess there's that part of me that's curious when the happy part shows up, and what's helping that part to be happy, I guess, and wanting more of that. I don't know if that even makes any sense.
Makes
so
sense to me.
in a way, that's why I kind of was leaning towards the happy part.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
To see what, and it could be, just the what we're doing that's, helping all these different parts. Has anyone ever gone to that part to?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people do IFS and feel happier. Do they call me back and tell me all about it? Not necessarily. So, that's just kind of the way that it ends up going, I think, is just, when we're feeling fine, then we're not reaching out to talk about parts, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't, or that it wouldn't be great to learn about that. And maybe we can find out if that is where that comes from, what that is a product of, if it has anything to do with our work together.
I can't imagine not, doing this with you and not having the feedback and not being able to look at the parts. Because to me, it's like, it's a different way of life. And it's like, I need that.
Absolutely.
To keep on track. So I can't imagine, people that don't keep it up. But I so appreciate you, to keep seeing me. So that means a lot. But I don't know, whatever.
That sounds fine. It's your call. If you want to hear from that part more, let's go for it.
Yeah, I feel curious about it.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on the parts that, well, I can't say not good, because all parts are welcome, as they say, but sometimes I don't know, just curious about when that part of me is happy and content.
Yeah. Okay.
So this will be something different.
Absolutely. So go ahead and tune into that and see if you notice where that is coming from, what that's like in or around your body.
It just feels like like a tingly feeling inside me. Like when you're happy, kind of, not butterflies, just a happy feeling inside my body, maybe a tingly sensation,
Okay.
like a flutter. It's just a happy.
Hmm. And how do you feel towards that part?
I am curious, to see. Then what came into my mind before that was either it's not okay to be happy or you don't deserve to be happy.
Right. Yeah.
That weird.
Yeah. We can listen out for those too.
But I am curious to see what helps that part to be happy.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like we have some other parts that are maybe judgmental of it or concerned about if that happiness would lead to something not so good, right? If you didn't deserve it or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I was okay though when my friend had shared a little bit. And I did say, if I did do anything to you, I am sorry. Because it's like, I don't remember a lot, but just to have that conversation and I wasn't beating myself up at that time about it, which was good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So that's a positive,
Yeah.
that.
All right. So this happy part, or this happiness, yeah, what does it want you to know? If you let it know that you're curious, what does it have to share with you?
I'm starting to feel a little like I'm fighting it. Isn't that strange?
Is that a message that comes from the part? Is the part saying sometimes it's feeling fought with, or is it you feeling like you were fighting with it?
I say the part because it's like those are the thoughts that are coming into my mind. So I'm assuming it's the part.
Okay.
But I'm still not always, good at knowing.
Mm-hmm.
But that part just felt confident.
Yeah.
Confident today and safe and relaxed.
Yeah. Maybe you could ask it who it fights with, who's fighting it.
And no, I'm feeling a little tightness in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting a clear answer on who's fighting it, but it feels like a little tightness in my chest.
And is the tightness in your chest, does that feel like another part that's coming up? And does it have a message for you?
I'm getting thoughts like just be happy. Just be happy. And I don't know where that's coming from, but it's like just be happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe just stay curious about that. Where's that coming from? What's the tone there? Is it just be happy? Is that a mandate? Is that an order of other parts, or where is that coming from?
I think it was kind of like yelling at it in a little way, like just be happy. Like don't question, don't judge, don't, that it's okay to have good days and it's okay to have a happy part.
Yeah. And how do you respond to that when you hear it coming up?
What I just said, or when
This part comes up and it feels like it's kind of yelling that, how do you respond to that part?
just thoughts are coming up like I can't, and I'm not, that's the critical, I guess, judging part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't go have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do.
Mm-hmm. So is the part saying, just be happy, we don't have to examine this or try to question it too much, and then maybe another part saying, you're not supposed to just go have fun. Is that right?
Yeah. It's, and I don't, and it's bringing up, just memories of the past too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay to share? I guess it is, right? Because that's what
You can share whatever you like.
Just my mom being so busy all the time and not, I don't think she did fun things. Like, you got to take care of the kids, and I don't have to worry about that now. I can go do these things, and
Yeah.
and that I deserve to do these things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a part that can still have a hard time,
Right.
knowing it's okay to again have my life, or a life with Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds like
As
it has
yeah.
concerns when it sees that happiness coming up. It starts getting concerned.
Like I'm still, it's still scary
Mm-hmm.
to venture in the world
Yeah.
and do, as they say, put your big girl panties on
Mm-hmm.
and not having a life with just myself, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, I deserve that too.
Yeah. And so how do you feel towards that part when it comes up? When it's coming up now? How do you feel towards it?
Mm, I know I'm not angry at it. I'm just, I need to think, I need to sit with it for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm a little anxious, I guess, about that part pulling away on its own,
Mm-hmm.
away from others, because it was, the other part. Well, I know this other parts are coming in, the other, being attached to people or kind of comes in too. So it's a little anxious when this part goes and does fun things and is happy. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, okay. So the part that's saying that you need to be responsible or that you're not supposed to be having fun or having in this life, this part gets anxious when it sees the happy part doing its thing.
It gets a little anxious because it's like I'm testing the waters out there and
Right.
leaving behind the part that was so attached to people.
Yeah. And does that make sense? Does that make sense to you that part would be anxious about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it comes, questioning that. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to go do things that you want or that are
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah, so just let it know that makes sense to you. And that you see its anxiety and worry.
it's saying it's okay. Now it's like I can feel it in my throat now again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not angry, which is the good thing. I'm not angry at it. I don't even really feel sad for it. It's just, I don't know if if that's good or, I just would like to change that way that I, deal with that part.
You'd like for it to not be so anxious?
Yeah, to know that these things are okay to
Yeah.
do.
So you could let it know that you'd like to learn about it and try to help it relax, through understanding it. It had a concern. It was expressing a concern about leaving behind parts that are so attached. That's a valid concern. Parts might get left behind.
But that part can feel so good and, like I said, so confident and secure. And that's such a good feeling.
Right.
It's like, that part's just going about its day and not into the future, not into the past, just being happy with whatever. Well, trying to be as happy as it can be with whatever it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of comes in. I think the projecting part, when that part would come in. So I'm seeing growth, I guess, in that area with the part.
Yeah, maybe growth in one area, and then maybe kind of these growing pains, these concerns from other parts that aren't all on board with that growth.
Yeah, I don't know why they just want to pull you back where it's comfortable and what's the word? It's like what's going on. I can't think of the word I want to use. Familiar.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The familiar.
What would you like to stay with this part and learn about why it does that, or do you want to go back to getting to know the happy part and trying to get this one a step back?
I don't know. Any suggestions from what you can hear? I know it's my part that needs to let me know.
Yeah, I would probably suggest going with this part that's concerned, just as a kind of rule of thumb of if there's concern, if there's anxiety, if there's the pulling back, that we want to check in with that. And it sounds to me like, again, kind of going back to which of these parts you want to change your relationship with, that would be, it could be that being happy is just natural, and maybe that's some self shining through, and that this is a part that, like it said, is concerned about being left behind. And so working with that might have kind of the double benefit of helping that part out and helping the happy part be happy.
Is that kind of like a protective part, the anxious again, that?
I assume so.
When you said self, it's like, yeah, I guess I wasn't self today more than I realized, which is a good thing.
It's great. It's a way of being a leader for your parts. And it's like you said, when your friend was saying these things, how you were not very reactive, how you were kind of okay or apologetic or curious about it, not mad about it. To me, that sounds like, yeah, you're leading. You're not reacting from a from parts. And confidence is definitely one of the 8 C's of self.
And I did feel confident. I did feel confident today. I really did. It was, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, so maybe this anxious part is feeling left out, feeling like it's not on that team or has concerns about when self shows up, and so we could work with that if you like.
Yeah, we can see where it goes.
Okay. And how are you feeling towards that part now? The anxious one.
I feel okay about it. It's because I'm not feeling upset, angry, sad, any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. You curious about getting to know it?
Sure.
Parts that aren't curious about getting to know it? Parts that object?
Not yet. So far, none.
Great. Well, let it know that. Let it know you're curious. And see what else it has to share with you. What else it wants you to know.
I don't know if I'm getting a whole lot. That anxious part, something came into my mind about like making sure with someone else that it's okay that I do these things. Like I want to be validated.
Right.
That it's okay that you're going to do these things. Validation.
Right. And what is its concern? What's it afraid would happen if it didn't get that validation?
That others will be mad and that I'm doing these things. I don't know why, but that's what others wouldn't approve.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to just stay with that and learn more about maybe where that comes from, or maybe when that comes from?
Yeah. I'm trying to listen to see what it wants to show me or tell me or whatever. I can't remember. I'm not feeling like it's when I was younger. I'm feeling more when I had my kids. So I was young, 20, 19, 20. Well, as they got older, just
You were young
feeling
when
it.
you were young when you had your kids. Is that right?
Yeah, I was 18. I was going to be 19 in the next month when I had my first.
Yeah. And is that feeling of others' approval, concern about having fun, concern about that being self-led, were those coming up around them?
I'm sensing that was more with my youngest daughter
Mm-hmm.
as she was getting older. I'm just getting flashes in my mind. I think I did talk about this before, but just doing things and the guilt that was thrown at me, or the threats, something's going to be taken away.
Yeah.
I don't remember that when I was younger right now, but it's more when it's like wanting that approval from my daughter, which, oh my, that needs to come from me. But that part that feels like it needs that approval
Okay.
sometimes from her to make it be okay to go do whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going off the thing, but that's just what's coming up.
Yeah. Well, if that makes sense to you, if that was a real experience that you had, or real emotions that you were having at that time, and this part was extra activated.
Yeah, when I made a decision that wasn't okay, making a decision on my own and not being accepted, I guess. It's
Yeah.
like I'm a grown up. There was a part of me that feels like maybe I was being treated like a kid. But
Yeah.
there's the grown up part that is allowed to make plans and go do things. And
Yeah. So what was it like? What was it like for this part in that time, dealing with
it
that
was
pressure?
it was scared a lot when it would happen,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I was going to lose my daughter if I didn't do what she wanted, or it's like that control over me. That part was scared to lose the one thing that I thought was like my safe place, my comfort, my security. And it was hurt, you know. It was hurt too to allow myself to be treated that way.
Right. Right. So there was that pain of the consequences of letting yourself be treated that way at that time, and then that kind of fear of not having the security if you were to lose your daughter.
Yeah. I'd be left with me.
Yeah.
Um,
So this part doesn't trust that you would that would be okay. That it was like you were saying before about just being me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like, such a yo-yo sometimes, and it's like waiting for the next shoe to drop,
Mm-hmm.
don't rock the boat type.
Yeah.
So that part well, I guess that's the protecting, trying to protect.
Right. Right. So
Trying
you can just let it know you see that now as a protective measure. And maybe show it some appreciation for its intention to protect you.
That makes that part feels really happy to see that.
Yeah.
And a little sad, if that can make sense. It may be a happy sad though. Like, wow,
Yeah.
you see that.
You see that, and I'm sad you didn't see that before, or I'm sad we had to go through that, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I do have a part that has a voice. I do have a part, like I said, that is confident and safe and secure.
Yeah.
Regardless of what others think or say or do. Oh, I can feel it's like all in my throat again.
Mm-hmm.
But
when that part talks about being, afraid or concerned about just being you, or about what others think or say, does that then harken back to earlier times or memories? Is it protecting even younger parts? That might feel like they're stuck in a time before that.
as you were talking, I got a flash of a memory again about not like my mother leaving again, like going
Right.
away, and I was misbehaving. And
Right. And about what age does that feel like?
I think it's back. I know I remember talking about this in 5th grade and up. So what would I have been? 9, 8?
Mm-hmm.
9?
Yes. Yeah.
That's just the thought that came in my, head when you were asking me.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like this part had that experience, that fear of your mother leaving when you were 8 or 9, and then it was kind of re-triggered. You felt it again as your youngest daughter was growing up. And it has this concern of being left alone.
Still, it's like, It was with both daughters, but it's like when I had the second one, my focus went on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is this all making sense to you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And how are you being with the part now? Does it feel close?
I feel a little sick. Just.
Can you say more about that? Is that?
Just how my throat gets, like a
Right.
nauseous feeling.
Uh-huh. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we were talking about this kind of 8 or 9-year-old part, wasn't there sensation in the throat then as well?
There is a lot, but it's
Yeah.
like when I feel like I kind of like a sick nauseous in my throat.
Yeah. So maybe you could ask this anxious part, if you were able to go to all these other parts, maybe go to this 8 or 9-year-old and unburden them, heal them, be there for them so that they didn't feel like they were going to be alone, so they didn't have to worry about that. What would this anxious part rather be doing with its energy inside of you?
Doing what I did today.
Yeah.
Just having I'm thinking a self day,
Mm-hmm.
just being in tune, being more, I don't know, whatever normal and mature, just being okay with the world as it is.
Yeah. So it would just be relaxed. It would have that anxiety would just be reduced, and it would just be able to go along with.
Yeah, and deal with things,
Mm-hmm.
but in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this before, and I'm like, well, and if it's back, it's like I feel like there's been a lot of progress too in this area with that part.
I think so too. Remind me, did we go through like an unburdening process with the 8 or 9-year-old part?
For some reason, didn't I? Was this our last? Wasn't it the last session that we talked about it? I thought. And for some reason, I didn't think I wanted to continue. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But that's what I'm remembering.
Yes, and I just want to remind you and encourage you that, even if we've been to all these places before, and even if you've gone through unburdening processes with parts before, it's really common for parts to revert to their, their habits, their old habits, where they've been, especially if we're not checking in with them regularly. So, it's not a pass fail kind of test here. It's just, I was just curious to what degree we've done that.
Well, thank you for reminding me and letting me know about that. Because that part that can come in and think, oh, see, you didn't get any better. You're right back to where you were. So,
I'm still celebrating the news from the 5-year-old, to be honest. I mean, that's just incredible.
There is progress. There is. She doesn't feel as insecure and scared as she was before we started. I know that.
Right.
I know, that part does feel a lot better.
You could try asking the anxious part how old it thinks you are.
It's like it was saying, silly, you're old.
Okay. So does it see your real age? Does it see who you are today?
Well, it's saying I'm old. It's like a jokester part.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes a 5-year-old part thinks a 9-year-old part's really old, so it's a relative, what old means, but
That's I know sometimes I do. I have a hard time, I guess listening to how old that
yeah.
part thinks I am or whatever. But those, things that came into my mind, like, silly, you're old.
Yeah, well, just show it. Just show it who you really are. What year it is. And that you're capable of going back and helping out these parts.
Yeah, that part just, it feels calm. Again, just knows that I will be there for them. I will be there for her.
Right.
It's like, it feels safe. It feels okay right now.
Right. Yeah. Yep, that's the practice. Just keep going back and being there for them and building that trust. So what else does this part need from you going forward?
Validation from myself for that part, just to validate it, and again, to be what I'm learning to be there
Mm-hmm.
for that part. And to continue to keep doing these things and not to let the fear or whatever stop it either. The biggest thing is just to be there for that part.
That's right. Yep. That's what they need.
And I don't think I would have gotten this far if we wouldn't be doing as many of these sessions as we've been doing. It's just keeping me, I don't know, more aware.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's like learning a whole new way.
Mm-hmm.
So the more we do it, the more I can see, and yeah, and just feeling, like I said, just more confident.
Yeah. Yep, they're starting to trust you one at a time. And yes, the answer is kind of the same for all of them. They need you to be there for them. And the process is, as you do it, you kind of see how similar it is for each of them. I mean, they're all different, and understanding and learning about them all in different ways, and they all have different things to offer. But fundamentally, being there for a part, regardless of its age, regardless of its role, is kind of the same practice.
Yeah. It's still good for me to have these every week to keep me on the right path.
Great.
Yeah.
I hope you have more time on the calendar.
Oh, I did a few, I think, but I don't even know if December's was up. I don't remember, but it's just like going to, my meetings too. It's like, or to learn a new language. If you're not keeping at it, you're going to lose it.
Yeah. But like you were saying, I mean, you get that growth and you're getting, you're having that experience of going to parts on your own also. Like, and that's just as much, if not more of it, because I can't be their leader, right? It's like what they need is you. And so,
Yeah. But having these times where we meet, it does help me to get more in touch with them.
yeah, helps me too. I forget, I forget to show up for my parts too. And then I remember that I got an IFS call later and this is what I'm about. So it's a good reminder for me too.
That's awesome because you are doing such good work. I mean, to want to help people and helping yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I just, again, I'm so grateful.
Me too.
And I know you know that.
Well, thank you.
That's my little part when I was little, always having to say thank you to my mother and keep saying thank you. That little part's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's good. That's a beautiful thing too. Like we build trust with these parts and then they can come out in that beautiful way, like they're not repressed,
Yeah. And we need each other, people need each other to get through things. Oh, so I don't know if it went as you thought it would, but it was good.
Good.
For me to see the happy part, but yet, it did go into other parts about not thinking I should be happy and a few other areas. So
yeah.
That was good.
And if you want, you could maybe just bookmark, thinking about this part that was anxious, like maybe the exile parts that it's protecting, maybe this part that had the youngest daughter growing up, this 8 or 9-year-old, those could be parts that we just bookmark to think about getting back to.
Yeah, I know there is still more. But slowly. I can't try to rush it because that's what I use. I try to rush a lot of things and that's not good either.
Yeah. This is a good pace. We're doing good, I think.
I think so too. Now I feel like I'm getting a headache. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't. It's probably a good thing. I mean, maybe that's just the way of, it's a release. So I don't know.
I'll take it. All right.
Well, so we have Thursday, I'm pretty sure. Right? Thursday, I think it's 6:30. I think.
Don't know.
7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Yeah, the 10th.
Okay, if it's in the calendar, I'm not sure. So
okay,
I'll get back to you.
All righty. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thanks you. Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, We must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.